Hi YouTubers, it's me again, and basically I want to talk about working in the fashion industry because there's so many misconceptions about working in fashion, and I just kind of want to clarify. Okay, so a lot of people think that if you work in fashion that maybe you have to wear different clothes every day, or you have to like buy new outfits every week, and everyone is really catty and everyone is very competitive and everyone is dressed in designer goodies from head to toe every day, and that's not the reality. Granted, there are certain occupations within fashion that you kind of have to look your best at all times, i.e. like if for instance you work in PR or something, or if you're a stylist or something, you should always look on point, because that, I mean, you're representing yourself every time you go out there. So if you are a stylist, yes, you do need to be well put together every day, but do you necessarily have to buy a new outfit every day, or every other day wear something new? No, not necessarily. As a matter of fact, I think you're even more clever if you can kind of work with what you got and mix and match and find different outfits from what you already have. But to be honest with you, majority of people that work in fashion dress like the average Janes and the average Joes, especially behind the scenes. Like when I was a garment technologist, because it also depends on who you work for, the kind of level of clothing that they produce, whether it's couture or it's high end, or if it's bridge, or if it's mid price, if it's more commercial, if it's really cheap like Walmart stuff, then I mean that will have a major impact on how people dress. The company I worked for, we had our own private label, but we also did some licensing things. So we sold in Macy's and JC Penney's, but we also sold in Walmart and Conway. And most of the people in the office did not dress up every day, if at all. Most people just wore regular jeans and regular t-shirts. To be quite honest with you, I like to funk it up a little bit, because since I design, then sometimes I'd wear stuff that I make, and I like to dress up. But I mean, there's no pressure for you to constantly work at looking well poised every single day. There's no pressure for that. Granted, if you work for a luxury company like Burberry, it might be different, because I have friends that work for Burberry, I have friends that work for Topshop, I have friends that work all over the place, really, to be honest with you. But no, everyone doesn't necessarily have to dress up in heels every day and things like that. That's a major misconception. Most people aren't as catty as they might make it appear in movies and things like that. I know The Devil Wears Prada definitely have people thinking that that's how fashion is, but that's not a reality. Granted, there are people that are catty like that and can be that much of a wench, but it's far and few and in between. Because if you think about it from a practical level, the fashion industry is a very social industry. So if you maintain a reputation for being a complete wench or being a diva, then you're not going to get many people that want to work with you. And if you scare people away, scare away customers, or you don't get along with your coworkers and things like that, you make it unbearable for them, you're not going to have a job very long. Because what you're going to do is, basically, if I'm a business owner and I don't care like how good you are at sales or how good you are at PR, if you scare people away with your personality, because you just your head is in the clouds and you have your nose turned up at everyone, then you're gonna cause more harm than good to my company. So you can go. You very much have to schmooze with people, and you should be very friendly, as a matter of fact. If you're a wise business person, you're very friendly. So no, everyone isn't like The Devil Wears Prada. Granted, I never worked in editing, or I've never really worked for a magazine, but I have friends that have worked in editing and have worked for magazines, and for the most part, people are quite friendly. And like any business, they want to make sure that you do your job and that you do it well. And yeah, it just really depends on what you do in fashion, really. Most people behind the scenes, whether they're a graphic artist or they're a garment technologist like myself, or if they're a pattern cutter or pattern maker, if they're a sample sewer, it's most people just dressed in regular clothes, to tell you the truth. Everyone doesn't necessarily go out of their way to dress above and beyond and I've worked for different companies as well. I've worked for companies that sell in the bridge price point. I've worked for a buying agency before. I've worked for a luxury accessories company before, and so I've done some freelancing stuff, quite a bit of freelancing stuff. But I mean, it doesn't hurt to dress up, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you should be a complete slob, but it really does depend on where you work for. If you work for a luxury brand, chances are you probably do have to look the part, but it also, like I said, depends on what you do. I mean, if I'm a pattern cutter, I'm probably hardly seen or heard, so why do I need to really dress up? As a matter of fact, I need to be as comfortable as possible, because if I'm standing on my feet a lot, or I'm around my machine a lot and things like that, I need to wear comfortable clothing. And sometimes fashion in its glory and in its beauty, you know, isn't necessarily comfortable. So no, there's no pressure to do that. I mean, the greatest pressure really just depends on your job, but it's just doing your job properly, and people skills are the critical. You know, 90% of success, no matter what field you're in, is based on your people skills, and that's one of the skills that I've definitely worked zealously to hone over the years, is to be a person that's very easy to get along with, someone that works well in teams and things like that, because teamwork is extremely important. Let me just stress that to anyone that has not worked in fashion. I don't care if you plan on having your own line, I don't care if you're the best PR person, I don't care if you're the best sales rep, it does not matter. There's some people that have this kind of attitude that I absolutely cannot comprehend. Even when I went to design school, there are people that haven't even made it 10% of the way yet. You know, maybe the local news came to our school and maybe interviewed them, and you know, they were divas and divos, and it was just absolutely ridiculous, the nasty attitudes, because they're gonna find out very soon that, you know, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't matter how freaking awesome you are. If you don't get along with people, or you treat people like rubbish, then good luck getting them to cooperate. Good luck getting them to do what you want them to do. The best way to get someone to do something that you want is to be nice to them. That's just really common sense. So, you know, the head in the clouds and, you know, having this nasty attitude, it will not get you very far in fashion. So if you don't work well in teams, then you're aiming for the wrong industry, because I've had to deal with someone from hell really in one of my groups, and you know, one of the things I asked her in the midst of confrontation is, have you ever worked for a corporate fashion company, or worked in a corporate setting within the fashion industry? Because granted, it was grad school, but her attitude and demeanor completely told me that there's absolutely no way she could have worked in fashion, because if she did, she would know that that is absolutely unacceptable. You must be someone that is relatively easy to get along with. If you are very difficult and you can't get along, you talk down to people and things like that, then you will not get very far. I'm very sorry. And not even just in fashion, in life in general. No one likes to be around nasty people. So no, most people are actually very nice people, and you know, most people, if you're smart, they want to get your business in some way, shape, or form, or exchange some kind of skills, or exchange some kind of contacts, or something, you know what I mean? So they're going to be friendly, and they're going to be approachable. So I mean, if you're thinking about working in fashion, and maybe for instance, you know, you're a graduate, and maybe you don't have that much money, and you're worrying, oh my god, you know, I got this great job, but am I gonna have to go out every week and spend my entire paycheck on clothes and starve to death? No, that's not the truth. That's not really how it works. And like I said, you know, get a couple of staple items, and maybe change up your tops, and you know, use your accessories, and changing your makeup, changing your hair, things like that will make the look completely different, and don't feel pressured into doing that. And if you have a nasty attitude, like I said, this is not an industry for you, because it's, like I said, it's an extremely social industry where you're constantly liaising with people, whether it's the factory, you know, or it's your coworker. You know, if I'm a garment technologist, for instance, I have to liaise closely with the buyers, because or the salespeople as well, because obviously the buyers are working with the factories and with the production and everything like that. So it all are little parts that contribute to the whole, that contribute to the big picture. No man is an island. If you plan to have your own clothing line, it's the same concept. You need to know how to work with people. You need to know how to respectfully disagree. You need to know how to respectfully express your opinions. You need to learn how to be tolerant tolerant of other people, and you know, other people think differently, they reason differently, they believe differently, and you have to be tolerant of that, because really you're going to be dealing with a melting pot. So yeah, that's what it's like to work in fashion.